Hi, welcome back to Echo. I am your host, Kimberly, with my co host, Rashona, and we are from BK Crypto and BK Crypto Coaching. I'm sorry, BK Crypto and BK Crypto Coach online. And we are here to discuss what's going on in the crypto world and how it relates to people of color, especially women, But we are really just having a little conversation with you today. So echo, echo, echo. The idea is to echo what's going on in the crypto world so that those of you who are in it and aren't in it, especially those who aren't in it, kind of just have an idea of what's going on because people aren't paying attention and we think you should. Okay, so something really important happened this week. Just, I believe it was Friday night. Bitcoin did its halving, and the halving is a very significant experience that takes place every 4 years. And I think Rashona is going to go into that a little further and tell you what's the significance of the Bitcoin halving.
Thank you, Kim. Yeah, she wants me to deal with the numbers.
I know, I always throw it to her.
I love numbers. I love numbers. I'm infatuated. Again, I'm a crypto enthusiast, and this crypto halving is phenomenal because there's so much things that are happening in this time now, energetically, spiritually, and economically. And this is not only just in America, but it's around the world. And so those who've been in it since 2009 are like, okay, they're having every 4 years, but then there are new people coming into the space, right? The baby boomers, we're looking at a $14.8 billion industry for those who are retired and they have a lot of liquidity. But then you have the new beginners, right? After Generation X, which you have Gen Z, and the new title generation, I don't know, let's solve peace and love. I don't know the technical name, but they're more purposeful and they want to deal with truth. So understanding the halving, there's a new chance to build financial wealth. But this phenomenon is that unlike our economy, we're overprinting dollars. We're dealing with inflation. And so when we look at the power of money, we realize that there's no real value in there if you could keep overprinting. But Bitcoin and Bitcoin halving is that literally there's only 21 million in supply.
Yeah.
And if there's only 21 million in supply and that every 4 years this halving happens, that just really means those who are mining Bitcoin, that every 4 years, there's a code that was built in the Bitcoin that literally those who've been mining it are now reducing the amount that they're basically getting rewarded. So let's say if last 4 years you were getting 6.6 to mine, then you're being basically getting reduced to 3.3, right? And so that changes, right? That changes now.
Hello? Oh, it looks like Rashona. It looks like her, oh Lord, her computer, her Wi-Fi might have froze. But anyway, I will continue here. Hopefully she comes back in. During the halving, the supply is cut in half. Okay, so there were 900 Bitcoin mined during each block, and now that's been cut in half. That's basically what happened. So, oh boy, she came back in and then fell back off. Okay, let's see here. Hold on. I think here she is. Okay, great, great. So I'll let you continue, love.
Yes. And so understanding the dynamics of what's happening in this space with the Bitcoin halving, and understanding that there's only 21 million of supply, which again beats the overprinting of dollars. So there's true value now, right? Because it's about supply and demand, right? This is also what's happening with Bitcoin halving. And so when you start seeing major private fund companies, and I like to say like Pac-Man eating it up, you realize there's something happening if you're paying attention. So you have these large institutions like Chase, Fidelity, BlackRock, right? Which is the big gem of the money holders who are like, I'm going to gobble all of the Bitcoin up so that I can control right now.
Didn't you notice? Yeah, this is true. This is true. I said, "Oh, how convenient that Jamie Dimon happened to mention just the other day, late in the week, that oh, by the way, I still am anti-Bitcoin." I'm just like, just stop.
Right.
Just stop.
Don't do as they say. Watch what they do.
Exactly.
Right?
That's it. Always.
And so just to bring it back in this phenomenon, people probably like who just got in the space are like, okay, so Bitcoin happened. and it reached its highest high,
Mm-hmm.
about I think 73K,
Mm-hmm.
and then it basically went back down, right?
Uh-huh.
But here's the thing.
Uh-huh.
What happened?
I just realized I totally forgot to use my microphone.
Listen, we
All
keep it
that.
real. We keep it real, right?
Exactly. So I'm keeping it real. Go ahead.
In the world, and sometimes when things are echoing, sometimes there's some type of interruption.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're back with our regular schedule. So right, so back to that. It's phenomenal because I know so many people who are new in this space are wondering what is going on,
Mm-hmm.
what's happening, and we say here, BK Crypto, really pay attention. Look at history. History would tell you a story, right? If we think about what was happening years in the Great Depression, on a lot of our economic downfalls, into where we are now, money has just always been an evolution, and it looked different ways, right? From the cowrie shells to the cattle to material to rice to gold to the Diners Club card.
Yeah.
Remember that?
I
Right?
know. I know.
With credit and debt, right?
True. True.
Okay. Yep. And then we got into the digital money. You know, you got into the cash apps, you got into the Zells, which changed our life forever. And then the crash in 2008 with real estate, AIGs, Lehman Brothers, to now this phenomenal of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And so as you look at the evolution of money and you think about looking at your life and how you want to make changes or making the right investments, it's not about to get scared. It's about to educate yourself on what's really happening. And if the big guys are now jumping in the 10th hour, you know something is happening. 21 million in supply, it's not a lot.
Yeah.
Especially about 7 point something billion being on this earth.
This
Everyone can't own a Bitcoin, but because of fractional investing, you can have a portion of that can change your life. I don't think who was it that was saying recently? I don't know, it was about if you own 0.001 Bitcoin, your life can change.
This is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember who said that, but yeah, because before it was like, 0.1 but now it's even less. Like just, own even just any amount, it's going to be, we suspect that it's going to be
100%.
Yeah.
So now that we broke this down, Kim, why don't you share like energetically what's happening? Because people are like, okay, so nothing moved, nothing's happening. I've invested, I want to get in. Is this the right time to get in?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah. Because I think that people who aren't familiar with the market just think that, there's going to be this, this is a big event and there's going to be some major move or major movement during that time. But the reality is that nothing really happens on the day of, besides the fact that the supply is that the supply that's going to be printed in the future is cut in half. That's all that happens on the actual day. And historically, there may be a little dip, initially, and then things tend to start to, percolate, It's funny.
But why are dips good? Because I think why are dips good? Because I don't think people understand that in life things have to retrace.
This is true. And
right?
that helps establish a new level of support. So traditionally, you'll have any asset. It goes up and down and up and down and up and down. And each time it goes down, it reaffirms that base. So a new bottom will be set. Right now, Bitcoin is it's a little above 60,000, and it's suspected that it'll probably go back down to that, high, like 59.7 around there. Maybe it'll retest that again before it goes back up. So, I'm ready for it. I'm not shaken, and we keep it moving. But in the long run, it's suspected that we'll be over $100,000, and and sometime in the future even more than that. But there'll be ups, there'll be downs. You have to have a strong stomach. This is a new asset class that is forming for people, and you have to be. If you're going to be in the game, you have to have a strong stomach and strong conviction, for what is going on here. Yeah.
Most definitely. Yeah. I mean, when we think about it historically, right? Because I think as we're talking about what's been echoing historically when the 4-year halving has occurred. And what does that mean is that there has been a consistent price increase every time that's been the halving. Mm-hmm. And maybe it doesn't happen right away. And again, it's about being consistent and steady in your investment. Mm-hmm. Is that it shows historically within the 6 months to the following year, Bitcoin increases. So historically, between 2012 to 2018, I mean, there was a graph, and I can't find it right now, but Bitcoin was at $11. Within 4 years, it went to $66. And then the next 4 years, it was like at, I think when our entry, 2017, it was like $600. And then literally 4 years after, in 2021, you know, it reached, was that 21,000?
Yeah.
21,000. So if you even look at the consistency of the pattern and the rhythm of Bitcoin and how it's been moving in every halving, wouldn't you want to get in or get a piece of the pie? I mean, what market that you've seen has consistently has shown that?
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. I've been, you know, because we're not financial advisors, so we never tell anybody, oh, go do this, go do this.
100%.
We just say, explore the news, you know, and not your traditional news. Go to the news sources, like even something like Crypto Panic, which is a news aggregator, which has tons of crypto news. Like, so we encourage you to go and do some research, you know, don't just listen to CNN and NBC and all the other, you know, regular news stations, because, you know, we know that the news is heavily, we'll just say, handled. So go do a bit of research, you know, because, you know, funny, I was reading an article the other week and I said, oh, I got to call a friend of mine who lives in Germany, because I believe it's I don't remember the name of the bank, but the largest bank in Germany, I believe, just started, you know, thinking about doing a Bitcoin ETF. And I'm just like, and I've been telling a friend of mine who lives there, a few friends, for years, please research it. Please just look into it, you know? And, you know, most people don't do anything. And so we hope that if you're listening to this episode today, or listen to any of our episodes, that we encourage you to at least do a bit of research. It's
100%.
not this big, really, it's not this big bad thing. We just want you to, you know, be informed.
Yeah, 100%. It's all about being informed, finding the right community that is providing the right information for you, and solution driven. It's not about, we're not financial advisors, but we all know that there are certain things been consistently echoing. If we think about the economic downturn, as well as, you know, let's talk about the quiet depression, you know, that's happening in America, right? Real truthfully, I'm a financial counselor. So I'm seeing it in my face day to day when I talk to clients about budgeting, managing their debt, asset allocations, and literally they're either living check to check, or they're living above their means, and not only because they are doing that purposely, it's because they have no choice.
Yeah.
Because inflation really kicked in, and maybe groceries for a family of 3 might have been $500 a month, but now it's about $1,500. And I'm not even what's the word I want to say?
Exaggeration. It's not exaggeration. Like, because it depends on where you live in the country, of course.
Live in the country, right? And so because of that inflation, most things are being affected. You know, we're not talking about going to restaurants to eat, you know, luxury, because that is a luxury. We're talking about literally, we're talking about laws of law and the hierarchy, the basic necessities of food, you know, water, shelter.
Your utilities. Lord.
Water is now private now.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. When that happened a few years ago, I can't remember what year it was, but when I got that notice in the mail saying that, oh, the water is going to be privatized now, la, 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 I immediately said, this water bill is going to go up like crazy. So please tell me why, since that happened, my water bill, which used to be like $65 for years and years and years, $65 for 3 months. Now it is $400 and something. Okay. And prior to this economic downturn that they're not calling a depression, prior to that, it was like $300. Now it's like $460 something. I'm just like, this is crazy. I'm using the same amount of water I've been using. Okay.
100%. You know? Right. And so what's being affected? So now we see this on one hand, we're seeing the elevation of this new financial asset, this digital asset that can change lives.
Mhm.
But then the other side, as this is also growing, fluctuating, so is the cost of living fluctuating depending when you are. And actually it's happening around the world, although some places might be better depending on the amount you're making in US dollars, right?
Hold on really quickly. Yeah, a friend of mine, I was just talking to her the other day, is a friend from Denmark, and she was taking some class in California, in LA, for like a few months recently. And she happened to call me the other day, and she said, "Oh my God, things are so expensive in the US." And she used to live here because she studied here before. And she was just like, I felt like, she goes, "This was crazy. Everything was so," I said, "Girl, I know. Girl, I know." And people, people just like, and we hear it. We hear it. People, and you know what? Everyone wants to walk around like, "Oh, I'm not affected." Like people, they're sitting in silence behind closed doors, and they're using their credit cards excessively, so the credit card debt is going up, and those interest rates are ridiculous. And so people are, and because there are numbers that have been coming out that the credit card usage is, it's
Excuse me, do you remember interest, credit card interest was about, let's say 13 to 18%.
Hello, it's like 29% now. Yes, it's ridiculous.
And they're covered more than the quote unquote people.
Yeah.
Who keeps getting bailed out? The corporations. And this is not trying to create some type of chaos. It's just bringing light to truth that's really happening.
Mm-hmm.
Most people are surviving now economically through cooperative economics, through community, to be honest. I mean, I've seen an influx in people with money literally on the line, right? Picking up food from those who are giving out, whether it's churches and those facilities that give out food every week to help balance for those who can't afford their average amount of spending for food. So what are the solutions? If we're not saying that we're not in a silent depression because they want to be talking about what we're here to talk about, there is a silent depression going on.
Silent depression. That is true. That is true. They don't want to say that word depression, but they need to say it. I said they need to say it back after 2000.
It's not a recession. It's a depression.
Exactly. I know. I feel like it is. I feel like it is, and it's interesting because I remember even following the 2008-9 situation. I remember, just going to your local stores, going into Target, whatever, and I could see the sparseness. There was just less people out there shopping, and I see that sort of thing now. People are getting, you can see people are just getting what they need. More and more people are being more mindful of their spending. Yeah.
To your point, Kim, let's talk about sization. Look, I'm making it words, sization. So have you guys noticed that we're going to the grocery store, buying the same product, and the sization has decreased with the same price? Your cereal boxes, and don't be, quote unquote, organic and natural.
Oh, girl, I know.
That box went from here to here.
Yeah.
With the price tag of $5.69.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. And they think that you're not paying attention, but it's happening. Are you guys paying attention?
No, I don't know what folks are doing. I don't know. I don't buy cereal. I don't buy like regular cereal. I mean, my son's never really liked it. So anyway,
100%, but the consciousness and the awareness. I think most people, when you talk about silent depression, I think not only the economy is going through silent depression, but people are going through the silent depression, and they don't want to acknowledge that's really happening, Kim.
That's true. Yeah. And that's all ages. That's all ages.
All ages.
Yeah. People sitting in silence.
And because of that, right? Let's talk about if we are living in the silent depression, right? We see what's happening.
Yeah.
What are the effects of that? What does it actually look like? There are people who are shopping, overspending, and not because they have it, because they're feeding their emotions.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah. A lot of people do that. Because they're, it's funny because there are some other societies. I remember a friend, she's from Japan years ago, because I met her God knows how many years ago, but she had said to me that, she's maybe a year or two older than me, and we were in our early 20s at the time, and she said that a lot of young people in Japan can never aspire to own anything because things are so expensive. So as far as property, I'm talking about. And so she said, so we just spend money. We just are spend our money, you know? And I was like, wow. And I could see a lot of people, you know, potentially having to do that here. And, you know, because I think it's a psychological shift that takes place with people. You know?
It's a psychological shift, right?
Yeah.
And to your point, something that we were studying about income inequality, but
Mhm.
also job insecurity
Yeah.
and gig economy, right? And most
Yeah.
people are like,
Yeah.
what is that?
Yeah.
Because now, because of the World Wide Web, the internet, the AI, these type of titles doesn't bring in security anymore. The
Yeah.
average person who is in their 30s or 40s don't
Mhm.
have job securities that those who were in their 60s and 70s have. The Social Security
Mhm.
is not the way to retirement anymore.
Right.
You're lucky if you have a pension.
Mhm.
They're not going to find a way to take it away from you.
Right.
So what does this create? Right?
Mhm.
Financial traumas.
Yeah. Mhm.
Right? What are the solutions now to figuring things that certain things you can't control,
Mhm.
but you know that you have to live
Mhm.
and not
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
survive. But
Mhm.
most of us, even the top, when you think about, okay, well, what is the real numbers between the poor, the separation, excuse me,
Mhm.
between the
Mhm.
poor, the middle
Mhm.
class, and the rich. And I think most of us who might be making high five figures or six are like,
Mhm.
you know what, I'm wealthy. And the truth is, because of inflation and because where things are economically, we really are not even in the middle class anymore. This
Mhm.
really just is this a silent, it's a silent constant. If you check out the information that's passed, is the poor,
Uh-huh.
literally,
Yeah. Mhm.
and the wealthy,
And the
1%.
wealthy,
It's
exactly. Yeah,
really a
they're
huge wealth
eliminating
gap.
the middle class. Yeah, exactly. They're expanding the wealth gap and they're eliminating the middle class. And this is right here is, and I think it's by design. But they are. It's going to be a way to usher in people's usage of um well, you know, what's coming. I don't know if I should say the name, but also um, there's the concept of, you know, basically everybody, you know, collecting money from the government, and a lot of different countries are,
Dependency.
yeah, exactly, are preparing for this level of dependency across the board, widespread. Yeah. So I don't know,
So
especially as you know, as things. Granted, there is this idea of
a social
bringing,
impact.
yeah, 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 and bringing back manufacturing and things like that to the state. But like, how much of that are people going to be able to do? Because then you have the, you know, the rise of artificial intelligence and the less of a need for people to do many tasks. So then, what are all these people going to do? Granted, many people who understand and learn the new technology will be fine, but that's not going to be like everybody can't do the same thing. You know what I mean? So
100%.
people need to be thinking about what is going on around them and how they need to adapt and adopt, you know,
100%.
in order to be a, you know, a higher earner in the future. There's not going to be space for everybody. So you need to get prepared and educate yourself in many ways, and be ready for what's happening. And, you know, the other thing is, you know, you might need to get uncomfortable. You might need to look at going where you're treated best, as the nomad capitalist likes to say, you know? So these are all concepts that we talk about, you know, during the day, during the night, over at BK Crypto Coach. And we're here for you. You know, if you want to join that conversation, come over and see what we got going on.
100%. I think that's a perfect segue to in this segment, and to understand what is really truly echoing your life.
Mhm.
How do you take your power back? And there are certain things that we can't change. We
Yeah.
understand that there are systems that are in place, but if we learn the systems that can also enhance and empower us, if we educate ourselves, financial literacy, if we connect ourselves with the perfect community,
Mhm.
and work together, that can expand our lives, the way we live on a daily basis, from our home environment to our family to our social environments,
Mhm.
um, to even our investment, how we're investing for the future.
Mhm.
Connect with the right community,
Yeah.
right? And as Kim said too, you know what? You might have to get uncomfortable. You might have to have a step back to step forward to really realize and identify who you are and what's your purpose.
Yeah.
Why are you here? because what's happening now in this energetic shift and spiritual shift is really now, how do I take me back, not only be in the place that's controlling, but what I want to do now. Technology is evolving. It's not to be scared, it's to evolve with it. So maybe you might want to do cybersecurity. There's top jobs in cybersecurity. Maybe you want to identifying how to, what is it? It is AI engineering. It's prompt.
Prompt engineering.
Prompt engineering. Right. We're talking about a quarter of $1 million, right? Maybe it's actually doing some healing work, right? Looking into the healing space, which is huge globally, because there are always solutions. Are you ready for the change? Because you can't keep living the same way, because life is lifing and things are changing, right? And so with that being said, think about what you want to echo in your life, not only just now, but in the future. Because when you think about echoing, it's a constant pattern. You think about whales and how whales communicate, dolphins communicate, they echo to each other, and they send a wave of vibrations. So what are you vibrating? What do you want to evolve to? What do you want to create? It is here. Come to the BK Crypto family. Not only do we do crypto coaching, talk about trading, we educate you, but we also want to fill your cup with things and tools that you can utilize for your future. And we also get into financial soul healing, because let's get it clear. We have financial traumas, and some of those deep wounds need to be cleared so that we can be open to create better things in our lives. And you're not alone.
You're not alone. That's one thing to remember. Okay. So we will see you next week. Look forward to seeing you there. Take care.
Bye. Take care.